will be joining us as well. But it is 4:35. So I would like to call the meeting to order. And I need to go to my agenda. All righty. So roll call. I don't know if it's necessary to have a roll call. There's 3 of us on the committee, 2 of us are here. Then I need a motion to amend or adopt the agenda. Lakeisha, have you had a chance to take a look at it?
Yes, motion to approve.
I have to second, and so therefore, all in favor? Well, is there any question? I think we're good. So yes, motion to approve. Thank you. We're in agreement that we will go forward with the agenda as printed. I really wish that, I don't think I can, maybe I can text, might be able to text Karina, because I wanted to hear.
Here, I can do that. I can text her. Yep, I'll text her while you preside. Okay.
Thank you so much. All right, and so the very first thing on the agenda, of course, is the West Broad update. And Dr. Thomas, would you like to go first, or do you want John to go first, or how do you want to handle that?
I can start, and then John can back me up because I'm not really good at backing him up. So if I start with my high level knowledge, then John can give the appropriate details. So if that's okay.
Let me make sure that are we live yet? I'm pretty sure. Are we? Okay, great.
We're live. Mm-hmm.
And, let me also, a point of clarification for me. I have gotten way too familiar with calling everybody by their first name. So I apologize if that's offensive to anyone, and I will do my very best to get into a more formal protocol. All right.
Okay. And I'm never offended. So that was the name chosen by my mother for me, and I am comfortable in it. So I am never offended. So just an update on where we are with West Broad. As you all recall, I had requested a few weeks back that we pause. I spoke with the Office of Early Head Start, and they had agreed to give us a small extension based on my expression to them and meeting with Ms. Higginbotham. We shared with them the unique position, I guess is a good way to put it, that we're in Athens, Clarke County with the historical context of that property, and that we wanted to ensure that we were doing due diligence in determining what our options were. They were agreeable to that, and their request was just that we keep them informed and that we move as expeditiously as possible, but that they were understanding of where we were. So once I had that approval, I moved forward, spoke with Mr. Gilbreth, and we reached out to our current architects, as well as engaging the services of a new historic preservation architect. We have, she had been out of town, so we've been delayed a little and had to wait for her to come back. We had our first meeting with them last week. And where we currently are, as you all know, there are 3 buildings on that property. We asked that we explored the option of, we already were going to maintain the Minor Street property. We asked about the possibility of also keeping the Campbell Lane property. And so we now have a contractor who's working to get us the cost of renovating that property as well. In order to support our early learning, early head start initiative, we did need 16 classrooms. And so we would, if we kept the Campbell Lane building, and after I do this overview, Mr. Gilbreth can talk more specifically about this. But because of the grading of that area, we'll have to add in a walkway that is fairly steep. And in doing that, the travel daily back and forth, if we were to put classrooms in that building, would put a pretty significant burden on our early Head Start staff. So what we did was kind of put our heads together on what were options. And where we resolved that was Ms. Higginbotham said we could use that Campbell building to put more, I'll just use the language of auxiliary type spaces there, and then put more classrooms in the Minor Street building that would go with the 9 classrooms that were going to be in the addition. And so we would have 9 classrooms in the new addition, and then probably, I'm thinking 5 or 6 classrooms, no, 4 in the Minor Street building. And then we would use the Campbell Street, Campbell Lane for more auxiliary spaces that they would not have to go to several times a day, so that the teachers were not having to use strollers to go up and down that incline. We could minimize how often they would have to do that. There had been questions and conversations about us being able to save all 3 buildings. Um, Saving Campbell Street takes away the large playground space. So we're having to move and reduce the size of the playground, and we'll also have to reduce the size of the parking lot. The engineers feel like they can design that so that we can get a fire truck in. The fire truck will have to back out, and we can get a small bus in, but not a 66 passenger bus. But the engineers did feel that they could accommodate that. If we were to entertain maintaining all 3 buildings, it would not be possible to build the space, the building needed for the additional 9 classrooms that have been in the design all along cannot be in that area, as well as the Broad Street building. So just, I think, to overview all of that again, where we are now is exploring, of course, keeping Minor Street, waiting on now costs to come back, which should be around the early mid of July. The cost for maintaining the Campbell Street building, we would move classrooms. Instead of putting those classrooms in Campbell Street, there'll be more classrooms in Minor. Auxiliary space would go to Campbell. And then we would still have to have the new addition for the majority of those classrooms. And maybe when Mr. Gilbert speaks, they may be able to show you that on the screen. I'm not sure if he's prepared to do that or not with Mr. Bassett. But so that would be the recommendation. We also know that there has been conversations about that property going on the National Registry of Historic Places. We have not had a chance to discuss that in detail, but if we are looking at the entire property being there, then that would mean that we would keep all 3 buildings, and that would not support what we were doing in terms of having adequate space for early Head Start. So there would be 7 classrooms in Minor Street, 9 classrooms in the new building. That gives us the 16 classrooms that are needed for expansion. And then Ms. Higginbotham agreed to move those other spaces to Campbell Street. So the big wait now is just to get a cost figure from the contractor to see how much it would cost us to maintain the Campbell Street, Campbell Lane property building. So that's the update from my high level ability. And Mr. Gilbert, I'm sure I left out a lot, so I will pass that to you.
I guess the only thing I would add is that I think we're shooting for July 8th to get the cost estimating back from the general contractor for the Campbell Street building.
Okay, I have a new name for you. It's Jonathan. A few words. Okay, great. Thank you for that.
Short and sweet.
And
Okay.
I'm impressed that I guess that means I actually did a decent job and didn't mess it up too bad, John. So I'm proud of myself.
The determination on Minor Street, whether we can do 6 or 7 classrooms, we would need to kind of work with the architect on that to see what we could do. Then whatever didn't fit in Minor Street, it would either be 9 or 10 classrooms in the new structure. So.
And then we would shift the play area, right? And then we would just, we're losing some space in the parking lot, but those are accommodations that we feel can be worked around to support the Campbell building once we know more about what that cost factor will be.
Right.
So Minor and Campbell, and the third building, what are we calling that one?
That's the one that faces
Cafeteria.
Broad Street.
The Broad Street building?
Yeah.
Okay. And that is the one that would actually, where the new construction would happen? Is that right?
What's that?
Is that where new construction is going to happen?
Yes,
Yes,
there's,
ma'am.
there's an existing building there now. We would take that one down and build the new structure. And that's in that location.
And the new structure would be further away from the road, which is something that's required with us having children there. And it would be able to accommodate the 9 or 10 classrooms plus administrative areas that are needed.
Great. Okay. Dr. Gant, Ms. Gallagher,
Yes.
questions or concerns?
No. Well, I don't know what the word is. Not no, but come back to me. I don't think I have any, but
All right.
check back with me.
Certainly. Ms. Gallagher, I heard some noise. Did you join us yet?
I'm here.
Oh, yeah, great. All right.
I'm excited that we figured out a way to make it work over there in those buildings.
Okay. All right. So again, my storyline is, and it will remain from the perspective of the community that obviously talks to me about this, is if the entire campus can be preserved and we can build out the facility to accommodate the needs for early learning, then we are certainly very much in favor of retaining all 3 buildings. And if we are convinced that that is not going to be possible, then I am confident that I will hear from them as soon as this call is over. But I am confident too, from my perspective, that we need to bring this to the full board for further discussion. That would be our next steps here. Okay.
And we'll be able to do that with more information after we receive those, the update on July 8th.
That sounds like, now we have one meeting in July, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm not sure what day that is, but I'll check that out. And if necessary, then we'll just have a call meeting to have this report out. And then we can move forward, because we don't want to continue. We don't want a discussion to be the thing that gets in the way of us moving forward. That's what I'm saying. Anyone else have any concerns or questions for either Dr. Thomas or Mr. Gilbert? None?
I missed the first few minutes. I'm just gonna go back and watch it later.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, if that's the case, then the next item on our agenda would be to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. I read them, they were excellent, very well documented, quite detailed. Is there a motion?
Ms. Davis, I think number 4 is the executive session.
Oh, I skipped that big block. I apologize. It's just staring at me. Thank you so much for correcting me on that. Okay, I need a motion then that we go into executive session. That would be a motion from Ms. Gallagher or Dr. Gant.
So moved.
Okay. Second.
Thank you. So we have a motion from Dr. Gant, a second from Mrs. Gallagher. Please, let's go in.